Hi everyone, let's see if this is working. First of all, welcome to the live stream. I'm trying to get Lukas Hasler in this talk. Let's see how this is going to go. So yeah, welcome.
Hello.
There he is. Hello, welcome Lukas.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, how are you?
Cool, thank you. Yeah, I'm great too. Well, I hope the internet connection is stable, but it should be.
I hope so too. We have unfortunately some issues actually in just Stuttgart right now with the connection. So let's hope for the best.
Let's hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Terrible. That is true. That is true. How have you been since our last talk?
Thank you very much. Well, it changed a lot, but it was nice. I mean, I'm back in my flat, which is nice. Being back, even though I like holidays, of course, and vacation and warm weather, because here in Austria, it's starting to rain, you know, and you know, I mean, autumn is coming, and that's the whole thing. But yeah, no, I'm really fine. And you? How about you?
I'm doing great as well. I was spending my holidays in Stuttgart, only practicing, unfortunately. I'm preparing some things, and yeah, it was pretty warm. It was pretty challenging for me actually to practice with this weather. I think like for a week straight we had like 38 degrees Celsius, which sucked. Sorry to point it out that way, but it was crazy, terrible. But yeah, it's getting like autumn here as well, and yeah,
that's good. So you're preparing for upcoming concerts. So what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm actually preparing for a project that unfortunately I'm not allowed to talk about just yet, but stay tuned.
Good.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a huge challenge for me, but I'm happy to take it. Very much looking forward.
Wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, must be great news.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Cool.
I hope.
Yeah,
I hope in
I will.
A few weeks.
Sure, I will.
I can announce. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Wonderful.
So yeah, today we decided to do a little question and answer game. Question and answer talk. Yesterday we already asked some questions in our stories with the question buttons. If any one of you still has questions, please just like comment in the live stream. We try to follow everything as good as possible.
And yeah, I think there is a button down below where you can just ask questions.
This would be wonderful.
Yeah, because then we can see it, like really see it as a question and not only as a comment, which makes it much easier for us as well.
Can you give me a little hint on how this is working?
I think, well, it's just on the right corner.
On the right
here.
Corner. Can you add it?
Device.
Well,
yeah, but you can. No, you. I think you don't have to add it. It's just for our followers, you know.
Correct.
They can just type in the question and we'll see it. Hopefully, let's see. Well, let's give it a try.
How this is going. I was writing some questions already down, so I think
that's wonderful. Me too. Me too. So we are well prepared.
That is true. That is true indeed. So why don't you kick everything off?
Cool. Oh, good. Okay, I should start. Well, the first question, and I got it like 3 times, is what's the biggest organ you've ever played so far, and which one you like the most? Well, these questions are probably the most answered by me, but once again, I'm happy to answer it. The biggest organ, I'm not really sure about it. I think it might be the Dobson organ in the cathedral in LA. I'm not really sure, but I think so. At least it's a huge one. And I think my really favorite one might be Pa. It's really hard because I like every instrument, you know, just, yeah, be flexible and get along with the instrument you're playing on. But I think, yeah, the organ of, I don't know, well, the organ probably of the Disney Hall in Los Angeles is really cool. You know, it looks like French fries. So it's a really cool thing. I think this might be my favorite instrument at the moment because I recently played it. So yeah.
That is great. Yeah, I saw the video. I have an interesting question actually, that got myself questioning for the answer, what we would do besides playing our instrument as a job.
Oh,
so that is a very deep question actually.
Well, I'm thankful that you got this question and not me, because I don't know what to answer.
It is addressed to both of us.
Oh God!
But you don't have to answer. That is fine. So my answer is actually, I would probably work as a musician's agent, somewhere in that field, because like the work behind the stage, let's put it that way, is something that is really fascinating me, on how you connect with people, how you organize everything for the audience, and also the artist, him or herself, is like easy. And so this is a field that really interests me, and yeah, that would be definitely my answer, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. I mean, I studied cultural management in Hamburg, so I probably would do the same, or probably work at an opera house, something with singers might be also very interesting, or with orchestras in general. But I would also say I would stay, in the classical music world, I would say.
For sure, yeah.
So, yeah, this would be also my answer. But an agent might be a real cool job. Yeah, but I guess also quite challenging. It always depends who is your client,
Right. True.
That's cool.
So a frequently asked question that we get always in the chat is on how old we actually are. So
yeah, the funny thing is I have this question like also probably 4 times here on my sheets. I'm 26.
So you're 1 year older than me. I'm 25.
Wonderful. So 96,
quarter of the century.
Born in 96, and you 97?
97, right? Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
Still the 90s generation.
Yay! Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Is it my turn? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, for sure. I don't think we have to do a set
A-B. Okay.
Like, just
good.
Go.
What shall I do? Where do you live? I got this question quite frequently. Where do I live? Well, I live in Graz, Austria, which is in the southern part of Austria, the second largest city of Austria, which is a small city of kind of 300,000 inhabitants, so not really big as, for example, Vienna, but it's the second largest here. And I live here right in the center of the city. And some years ago, I studied for a whole year abroad in Strasbourg. So I lived in Strasbourg as well, and 4 or 5 months in New York, but that was back in 2017. So now I just live here in my flat in Graz, and I'm very happy here. And how's about you? Where do you live, by the way?
So I live in Stuttgart. I was born and raised here. So Stuttgart, in case you don't know, this is in Germany. This is in the southern part of Germany, close to Munich. I would say like 2 hours maybe by car. And for my bachelor's, I actually went to Munich to study there, at least started studying there. And I changed back to Stuttgart to a new professor here. Like, as I said, in the middle of my bachelor's. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here. It's a wonderful city with which has a lot of cultural opportunities. And yeah, very green, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, I was in Stuttgart twice, no, 3 times for a masterclass also at your university, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really like the opera house as well. They have good productions there.
Definitely.
Yeah. Very cool city. And I don't know, how's about Stuttgart 21, the railway station? Has it already finished? I know this is something, but is it already finished?
No, this is far from being finished, actually.
Okay.
So
currently under construction. for
currently
20
under
years.
construction. That is true. It is called Stuttgart 21, so 21, because it should be done at the beginning of the 21st century.
Oh,
so
yeah, of course.
I think we have like 22 already.
Yeah.
So 22 years later, and it's still not done. And yeah, it's going to still take a while.
Oh God.
Difficult topic here.
I'm sorry. I know. This is,
yeah.
This was a political question. I know.
For sure. So a question that is also really interesting to me. Do you actually have musical idols? Like, and did they change probably from time to time?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
So do you want me to continue?
I just have to think about it, so that's the reason why you should.
That is fine.
Go forward.
So I would say they actually change from composer to composer, because I don't think that any human being can play everything interesting, and not only interesting, but so interesting that everything is like on the same level, to point it this way. So I would say for like classical, like the period of classical music, and also Baroque music, I would definitely go with Pariah, for example. I had the honors to have a couple of lessons with him privately in London. He's such an inspiring guy, such an inspiring human being, and I really like his style there. But I would never see him in Chopin, for example, and luckily he himself don't see him so much in Chopin. I mean, he did wonderful recordings of the Chopin etudes. They are damn amazing. But yeah, like a huge romantic work. This is like there are other pianists I would prefer, for example. So if I could point out two that kind of I do adore in general, this one is Pariah, and the second one is my mentor Robert Levin. He was a former professor in Harvard, and he like knows everything. He's like Google and Wikipedia and Google Translator in one person. Plus, he can play piano. So this is crazy, and he actually helped me discover my musical language, my way of approach on how I want to approach a new piece, a composer, and yeah, very inspiring. So what about you? Sometime thinking now.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a hard question, honestly, because I really think that, as you mentioned already, it really changes all the time. So I like some recordings by someone, and then other recordings or other composers by another one. So it really always changing all the time. I would say, well, I really adore Virgil Fox, who was a former very prominent organist in the United States, and also Marcel Dupré, even though we only have recordings by him. Some people did meet him in person, but that was like almost 100 years ago. Now, honestly, I don't really have an idol. I love to watch YouTube videos, for example, and I love to develop and explore new recordings, new videos by new artists. And really, I'm kind of picky. I just want, really, in the sense of the word picky, I really want to pick out the best pieces out of one's work. So I don't really have one person in general. I would say it's just changing all the time. It really depends on the recording and the video.
I really understand that, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So, well, next question. Well, I got this question quite often. How can I build up such a huge audience as you? I think it was meant here on Instagram or Facebook. Well, probably you can say also something to it, because your audience is almost as big as mine. I would say it's just lots of work and continuity. So just, well, first of all, be flexible. Second of all, post as much as you can. Third of all, just also, I would say also watch some videos, you know, some instruction videos of how the algorithm is changing or is even working at the moment. I mean, it's changing all the time. And then just present nice, interesting content, which I think is really the most important thing. Because if you only do one thing, as we both do, like you're just playing the piano and I'm just playing the organ, then I think it's also very convenient to connect it also with sometimes a political issue. I mean, not a daily political business, but for example, climate change or how our society is changing. So, you know, do some projects with this here or help humans, like humanitarian projects, or just combine it with other projects. I think this is really interesting. And also what we are doing here right now, you know, also talk to other musicians, not only in the organ world, not only in the piano world, but also, you know, the Latins have this word variatio delectat, so variation is really a good thing. And I can fully agree with it. Yeah, this would be my answer to this question. What's yours?
No, definitely, absolutely the same. I mean, you almost said pretty much everything. Something that is for me really important as well is don't try and bend yourself from what you show on social media and how you actually are as a person. Be real, figure out who you are. I mean, this is a very deep saying, figure out who you are. Who actually knows that? This is also something that might change from time to time, but figure out what you want to transfer to any kind of audience. And this is something that is really important to me, because you cannot do like today, go to the left and then to the right and then go straight on and then do a U-turn or whatever. So figure out what you want to show actually. And then of course, continuity, luck with the algorithm, and something that is actually a connection to one of the next questions I wanted to ask. Tips for a career. So also back to social media, and let's connect those things. Networking is the most important thing, of course, besides doing your homework on your instrument or as a singer with your voice. You of course have to build up your in German we say Fundament of a house, like the basic structure of a house. You cannot start painting ornaments already if there's no foundation. Do your homework, of course, but also then try to bring it out in any way possible that suits for you. I won't say everyone has to do social media, everyone has to have a website, everyone has to do whatever, but figuring out for yourself and then stand up to your decisions and be flexible with them. Yeah, and you can easily, or not easily, that's the wrong thing, but you can build up a career and a network with that easier. Yeah, and just go out, just talk to people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone is just saying.
I also would say, yeah. Sorry.
No, someone was just saying. I'd say networking is more important than attending a precious music school, and I would personally really agree with that, because like a degree is just a certification of that you are actually able to do something in a clinical environment. Like you have your organ, I have my piano, a singer has his or her voice, and this is just, as you said, just that. So you have to go out. You have to go out and make your connections.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I just wanted to mention that it's really interesting that some people do not know what networking is. So they think when they write people here on social media, that's networking. I think we both mean networking in a way of connecting to each other, but in a personal way. So really like face-to-face, as we call it. This is really important. Also, what I think is important is to go to concerts, to go to operas, you know, to see how other people, especially musicians, are working on stage, are behaving on stage. What are they doing? Try, once again, this is kind of networking, try to get in touch with them, for example, especially if you find them kind of cool or kind of idol. And the other thing I would really say is, as you mentioned, it's not about what is in the CV or what you can read in the CV. It's about what you present at every occasion or each concert you're playing. So I think this is the most important thing. First of all, be really good prepared in what you're doing. And the second thing is be a social person, like a normal person. Don't be too pushy. Like, don't go to people and say, oh, by the way, please, I need a concert, or I don't know what. No. So networking is really just get in touch with new people and, well, just, yeah, be yourself. Authentic. Being authentic is probably the key word here. Yeah.
True. Definitely agree.
Good.
You want to continue with a question?
Oh yeah. Well, what's the next? Well, what's your favorite piece?
No idea.
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. I mean, I do like Mendelssohn a lot. At the moment, I think Liszt's Ad Nos is my very favorite piece, most favorite piece at the moment, but this is because I'm just playing it at the moment. So it always depends when you ask me a question and on which instrument I'm playing, especially in the organ world. We are kind of related to our instruments, so you always have to play something else which fits on this special instrument. So sometimes a Baroque organ, sometimes a Romantic organ. So I honestly would say it always depends on the situation. What's your favorite piece?
I don't think that I can even point out if I would reduce everything to 10 pieces, because there's like literally way too much great, inspiring, touching music. And also, as you said, it always depends on in which mood you are. Which is actually, I was thinking about that a couple of days ago. That has nothing to do with this exact question, but it was still really touching me. As a musician, no, let's start from another side. As a painter, you paint something that you feel in this moment, and also as a composer. And when you don't feel the emotions you felt like when you started, then you will just put something aside and start another thing. Or you might not on this day work on this painting or this composition. But for us as a musician, like the reproducing part, we're not like improvising, we're not composing ourselves, I assume. I don't know, but actually I'm not composing, so we're just like copy pasting stuff, and we always have to find the right emotions. We always have to go in the character on what the composer wanted, even though
that's true,
we are not even in the mood. So if you have like the most amazing day and you play, I don't know, a funeral march, this is very difficult. And also if you have like a tough time and you have to play, I don't know, Mozart, for example, you can pretty much generalize that, that Mozart most of the time is happy music. But if you're for yourself going through a tough time, you still have to find the right touch. And this is something that really triggered me when I started to think about that. Yeah, had nothing to do with the question. Still wanted to
but
talk about that.
That's really something I was also thinking about, that we as a classical musicians are only reproducing music which has been already written, first of all, which has been brought on stage for millions of times. So why are we just reproducing it? And I think we also have to feel something in it, especially for me. I just can speak for myself. And the second thing is, I really love to develop and to, you know, dig into it, to see what's underneath, to play something which has not been played probably in my style. So it's not about myself, putting myself in the front row, but it's also about, just exploring. And I like exploring very much. And I think this style of exploring something, this mood, we should always remind ourselves of, you know, getting in this mood of, I want to learn something new, not only the notes, but also the music, what's behind the thoughts. So I'm also really into the historical background of these composers. For example, one example is Franck, who wrote the three chorals, the very famous three chorals, at the end of his life. And you can really feel it. And especially when you know the history behind these chorals, it has a greater sense of what he was writing, I would say. Yeah. True. But this is deep diving now. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about your
No, but this is actually perfect what you said, because this is going to also we have a lot of deep conversational questions actually. How to I kind of lost it right now, but the sense was on how you develop as a musician. And I think exactly what you said is a part of it, like to first of all understand on what the composer wanted in this piece, to understand the historical background and the environment the composer was living in. Also, like the general historical aspects on what happened to this during that time. This is one part. And also, like, of course, listen to music, go to concerts, try to find ways for yourself to improve as like on your instrument, and try to this is something I personally just discovered actually on how important that is. Try for yourself when you're playing a piece or you have a technical issue, to how would you describe it? How would you explain it to a student, to a piano student, an organ student, to push you there as well, to also have the ability to double check if you actually fully understood what you're doing, or if this is like just subconsciously what you're doing, and then you will not, you will play this certain passage perfectly, or like perfectly, but you cannot take the learning you should have gotten or you could have gotten to another passage which is kind of similar, because you just did it subconsciously. So really practice with a lot of focus, and sometimes like from this teacher side of perspective, like you teaching yourself, and also watching, you just said in the beginning of our talk, watching YouTube videos for like students as well. This is something I really do like as well, like either master classes. There's so many great master classes out there that are just filmed. This is like free stuff that you can consume. Either it's the piece that you're actually playing right now, which is like helpful for obvious reasons, or it's a piece from the composer that you're playing right now, or just in general. This is like free. You go watch it, go take everything from these lessons that fits you and discover your own musical ideas behind that, your own voice. Yeah, and besides that, having inspiring talks like we have right now, which got very deep. We have to
Yeah,
do a
it's
funnier
deep diving,
question
but
for
now
the
I
next
really have
time.
to say it's exactly what you said. Yeah, I can 100% of what you said. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great questions, great questions. I
Yeah,
have to say.
that's cool.
Let's pick an
So,
easier one for the next one to lighten up
shall
the
I
mood,
pick one
maybe.
or you?
Of course, you can pick if you want.
Oh God. Well, what are our next goals? Good question. What is my next goal? Something is coming up as well, but I should not talk about it at the moment. So I'm almost in the same situation as you, but something is, yeah, coming up. Well, my next goals are probably the next concert tour to Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore in October. I might probably come back to the Ukraine. Let's see whether it's possible or not in November. And then another concert tour to Salt Lake, I think Boston and Los Angeles in December. So these are my next goals, and now I have to go and practice. What's yours? What are your goals?
So my main goal is this let's say production. This is already like how do you say pulling down the curtains kind of. But I have a huge production coming up that I'm really looking forward to and that I want to prepare as good as possible. This is what I'm mainly focusing on. And since the lockdown was there back 2 years ago and 1 year ago, I started a series on Spotify called Home Series because I loved recording and I really wanted to just for fun without like too much behind, just for fun, record some stuff and put it up on Spotify. I have a few things coming up there as well pretty soon, but you will get all the informations anyways. So this is coming up and I just recorded that. And yeah, also some concerts. And one of the questions for me was, when are you finally coming to the US? Well, I've been there 3 times before. I played twice in New York and once in Boston. And my answer is just invite me. I would really love to be there. I hope that something will work out for next year's. I mean, it was a bit difficult to plan new things because of the pandemic. But yeah, I would be really happy to be invited there and figure it out from there. So yeah, these are my next goals.
Cool. That's great. Let's go to the US together.
That would be fun.
That would be really fun, yeah.
That would be
well,
fun,
first of all,
sure.
we have to know each other in person. That's the thing.
That
you know, we
next.
were talking about networking face to face in person, and we both know each other just, well, here on this platform, Instagram, which is also very nice because you can connect to people also in other countries and you don't have to sit beside them. But yeah, I hope to see you in person soon.
For sure, we have to make that work. Definitely. So an easy question, like one of the easiest: tea or coffee? For me, it is coffee. For you?
For me, it was coffee. Last year, it was tea only. Now it's 60% tea, 40% coffee. Well, let's say this way, I adore and love and appreciate coffee so much, but sometimes it's better to just drink tea. So I'm always in this dilemma, but I like both. Let's say it that way.
Great. Easy question.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of easy. Well, we have a question here. When are you coming to Fort Lauderdale? Lauderdale, sorry, Florida, I guess. Yeah. You, I think.
Please invite me. I would be happy to come.
Oh God.
Unfortunately, no plans so far.
Yeah, same here. I mean, yeah, I would love to come to, return back to Florida because it's a very nice place, and I really hope to go there in winter, like when we have winter.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, this would be nice, you know, like in December, having 20 or 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, well, no, let's go back to autumn.
Sure. So I got a very interesting question, actually, that is kind of deep, but will definitely interest most of you, I would assume. Tips for going on stage and preparation, etc. This is a thing that I think we could make a whole episode for, because this is like containing a lot of small aspects. But I would, to make it a bit shorter, I would just say prepare as good as possible, as secure as possible. Practice a lot slowly in advance, because when you practice slowly, you really feel, because it's out of context, out of what you usually do when you play fast, you really see if you actually got the music in your fingers, in your head, and your ears and everything. And not just like the melody. This is like the main, when you play by heart, for example, without the scores, you will most certainly never forget the melody, but what you will most likely, if something is happening, will forget is the left hand, for example, or the inner voices and stuff. So practice a lot of that. And then also in preparation of the concert, play for your friends, play for your family once or twice. Because to me, actually, this is really funny. To play for friends is like way more challenging than to go on the stage, on the actual stage. Even when I play the biggest concerts ever for like my size, I'm less nervous there than when I play for friends, because this is more intimate, and I feel like they will judge what, of course, being friends, they will not, no matter how it's going to turn out. But do that. This is a wonderful training. And then always, no matter how nervous you are, try at least to keep in mind that you, first of all, did all your preparations, that you are just there to make music, that you're just there to make music. And people coming to this concert also, no matter how big it is, they are either coming for you because they want to support you as your friends, as your family, or also as your audience, because you convinced them already that you do great music. So just talk a story, just enjoy the music for yourself. Don't think it's a concert. It is just you playing your instrument and you make music, and let it go as good as possible, and then hope for the best.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, as we mentioned, first of all, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. I think this is also, and sometimes, I mean, we could also do a live talk on this. I think this might be also very interesting for our followers and friends. Also to develop a kind of routine before you go on stage is, I think, very important. But this comes with a kind of routine and with playing a lot of concerts. As you mentioned, preparing. So it's all about preparation, of course. And then also take the risk, because it's always risky, you know, whether you play more musical and go more into a risky way, or just play it very secure, but sometimes it wouldn't touch people that much as it could be. So I also agree on this, that playing in front of friends is much more, much more challenging also for me than playing in front of a huge audience, for example. And what I also found out was that it always depends who is sitting in the audience. So when I, first of all, know that XYZ is sitting there, who I know, for example, or who's good organist or something like this, of course, your brain starts to work. And I think you have to be prepared to say, no, every single person in the audience is as important as the other one. So do not rank the audience, which I think also helps you to just control yourself. Breathing is also another thing we can talk about, but probably we should do another Q&A video about going on stage, about playing in front of an audience. I think this would be a nice topic for the next one.
Definitely, very good idea. So what do you have in?
Good. Well, my last prepared question. Well, I got some. Most of the questions are almost, kind of the same. The last one was, when do you record your next CD? That's a good question. I do not know it exactly, but it'll come probably next year. Let's see. I mean, we are, just negotiating, and we'll see what happens. What's your answer on this question? I'm sorry.
Something that I cannot talk about right now.
Oh, good.
No, but it's, I know, like a recording, the process already, because you already did it again. Like the process of making a CD is a long thing. And it is not done with just recording, because you have to prepare in advance for also yourself and selecting everything, but you have to negotiate, you have to talk to many different companies and financing stuff, and this is really challenging. And like after you did the recording, you have to go throughout the different versions, making small little corrections with the sound engineer. Then you have to do the booklet and stuff, and then finally at the end there's the release. So it will take some time for me still.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Coming soon.
Good.
So a funny question I got is, would you rather play the guitar than playing the organ or the piano?
Well, I play the ukulele, so yeah. I would say no, I prefer the organ, but I also play the ukulele.
Great. So I did play the guitar actually for a while, but I personally prefer the piano because of obvious reasons, I guess. But one final question that was really getting into my eyes was, first of all, Queen Elizabeth died. Yes, that is really unfortunate. I just found out.
That's the
right
reason why
the
this
talk.
year is black.
Yes, rest in peace. She was a great human being, and yeah. What did I want to say? So yeah, the question was, how did your parents actually? I really cannot talk right now. I'm sorry. Did your parents actually supported you when you started your like love to the instrument, when you started your career, your musical path? What was it like that?
Yes, of course they did. I think otherwise it wouldn't be possible. As a small child of 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you need the support of your parents. And I had the support, and I'm very thankful for it. Also for the strength and continuity. My parents told me, well, you started with the piano, because sometimes, you have these ups and downs.
For sure.
And now it's also the way to go, which means that they always told me you can end your class, but at the end of the year. and then you can decide whether you want to start next year or not. And I think this really helped me also through different times and also difficult times, of course. But now I'm really thankful for them. And of course, the organ, like having, for example, as I do, an electronic organ to practice on here in my flat is also a support of my parents, because back then I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old when I got my first digital organ, and of course I couldn't afford it. So I'm really thankful for them. And yeah, I think this is one of the most important things, having either parents, grandparents, or other supporters, but who really think about you as worth studying it, and who are also thinking about you as the right person at the right time to study this. So it's all about, I think it's all about the support also of your relatives, friends, and of course parents.
For sure. No, I can only say the same. So for me, it actually started with my kindergarten Betreuer.
Auntie?
What is Betreuer? Auntie there, yes. She had a son. He's like middle 30 or 40 already, and he's a conductor. And she heard and she noticed that I was constantly, funny thing, talking about the organ, not the piano, but talking about the organ. And she had like a few long talks with my parents, because none of my family even had anything to do with like classical music besides playing the flute for fun, or my dad played accordion for fun. My grandma was singing, but nothing serious, and nothing ever considered to be serious. So I was really lucky for having her as my kindergarten auntie, because she was the one who told my parents, maybe you should start thinking about him getting a piano. And also my neighbor, he played the piano, and he had like this little model train, like Märklin remote control trains. And he always wanted to play with me with the trains. And I was like, no, I have to practice now. And I was sitting there on the piano. So on my third birthday, this is what you mean with supports from the parents. And my third birthday, with like with the red bow around, my piano was coming, and this was like the most exciting day of my life. So yeah, support is really, really important, I would say, not only from your family, but also from your surroundings. And I think this is also, unfortunately, sometimes the reason why people stop their musical path, because their surroundings, their friends pointed out as not being cool somehow. So yeah, be careful with what others are saying in general, and early doors, stand up to what you think is the way you want to live. It doesn't even have to be becoming a professional musician. It has to do with everything in our lives. Go get your own opinion and stand up to it, and are convinced, but also open at the same time for new things, but are convinced on what you actually think is you at this time. So yeah, I think also this is really important. But yeah, I was really lucky that everyone supported me. Yeah, and I'm really, really thankful for that. Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Great
wow.
talk. We had
wow.
we had a lot of ups and downs, very deep, very, very deep, but also like fun questions. So it was great. We definitely have to do that again. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our next Q&A session, or something about getting on stage or something.
Getting on
well,
stage.
we'll see. Yeah,
for sure.
Stay tuned, guys.
stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed our little talk. And yeah, see you soon. And depending on where you are, good night or have a good day. And yeah, see you soon. And see you soon, Lucas, as well.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.